Welcome to our show, Family Matters. Family matters to God and to every one of us. Every single one of you, whether you are a parent or a child or a grandparent, your family matters to you. And I can tell you that your family matters to Christ as well, who sees your family as a unit to build the body of Christ, the whole church. Today's episode, I would like to welcome your questions and discussions regarding bullying. I would like you to answer me if you have any issues regarding: do you think your child was bullied? Do you know the circumstances? To what extent do you think your child was affected when he was bullied? Do you think the bullier is in school, in church, or where exactly? Do you think your child is now have a different behavior because he or she was bullied? Do you think he or she were exposed to cyberbullying? And to what extent? Do you think your child ever thought of suicide because your child was bullied? And what do you do if you face that one of your children exposed to bullying? These are some of the questions that I hope to answer today, and I hope to receive your questions while I am trying to give you some information. So, some statistics first. 1 out of 5 kids is being bullied as we speak now. 20% of children, students between ages of 12 and 18 are being bullied nationwide. Between the ages of 12 and 18, when they were bullied, they had social influence in 50%. Those bulliers were stronger physically in 40%. They had the ability to influence the perception of others in 56%, and they had more money in 31%. Nationwide, 19% between the grades of 9th and 12th grades report being bullied in the past 12 months of school. They were bullied in the hallway of school and stairways in 43%. Classrooms in 42%, cafeteria in 26%, outside in the school ground in 22%, online or text in 15%, bathroom in 12%, and somewhere else in the building in 2%. 46% of students ages between the 12 and 18 were bullied during the school year and notified an adult about that they're being bullied. So what is bullying and how do we define it? Bullying can come in many forms, but basically it's when someone is made fun of, teased, mocked. Bullying means teasing, calling someone names, deliberately ignoring someone's request, asking them to leave the team or to leave the room or they are not welcomed, playing nastily with jokes and spreading nasty rumors, that's bullying, pushing, ripping, hitting, taking things of your child or damaging their possessions are forms of bullying. So 20% of our children were exposed to one or many of those manifestations. There are physical signs you can find in your child to know if he or she were bullied. Bruises, cuts, scratches, torn clothes, missing property, missing handbag or phone or iPod, poor eating or sleeping and anxiety, scares, nightmares, bed wetting, complaints about headache all the time, refusing to go to school because of feeling that I have headache, requesting money from parents all the time, because a lot of bulliers sometimes they request money from your children. Some of the other signs include not wanting to go to school, staying close to the teachers during break. They don't want to have fun with their friends. They want to stay next to the teachers' hangout area. Starting to be not interested in friends and want to be alone, and they don't want to befriend anyone. Difficulty asking questions in class because they are afraid that somebody will make fun of them or start giggling and saying jokes while he or she are raising their hand to answer questions. So they would rather not respond to the teacher, and subsequently the teacher may think this child doesn't know or give him poor grades. Troubles in making homework or schoolwork because they would rather not known to be top of their class because they are being made fun of. Stop taking part in school activities. So they used to be in the tennis team or the basketball team or the music team, and now they keep dropping because they are made fun of. Social manifestations of bullying. A child may avoid social events, like he doesn't want to go to lunch in recess because in the cafeteria they make fun of him. They don't want him to sit next to him. Losing contacts with classmates after school. He tries to go in a different alley or go in a different direction because he is afraid to walk next to those who bully him going home or taking the bus. He or she may like to be the last one to be chosen in the team because they don't want to be seen by others that he was chosen first because they make fun of him. And then there are emotional changes. Your child may feel anxious, nervous, unhappy, down, teary, angry, withdrawn. And these changes may be even more obvious right before going on Monday to school, because they are afraid now on Monday the cycle will begin again. I want to give you a couple of stories that happened and moms or kids came to talk to me. So one child was cutting school, and the school principal called mom and told her, your son hasn't been in the last session of the school day. And when she inquired, she found that the kid goes to school every morning, but right away he always leaves the last class. When I was allowed to talk to the kid confessed to me that during this last period, he's afraid to go home with the rest of the gang because they make fun of him. Because they gang up on him, they make fun of him while walking, so he would rather leave early. I'll talk about how did we resolve this later on. Another issue. A girl who was a little bit overweight stopped going to the sport class and she failed the sport class, although nobody fails a sport class, you just have to show up. When I had to talk to her, she said, I can't wear shorts, and the teacher refuses that I don't want to participate. And when I participate, the girls make fun of me because I'm overweight and the way I run, they keep giggling. And the poor girl refused to participate in the sport class even though she was failing. And she would rather take a summer class where there are less girls and hopefully the teacher is not going to ask her to run. Those two examples are very troubling, and I'm sure every mom of you may like to share with me, and I will be honored if I hear your examples as well. Bullying is not something uncommon anymore. Unfortunately, we have very harsh kids around our kids, and sometimes their fame depends on making fun or a name for themselves by putting down your son or daughter. Unfortunately, this is not foreign to our churches either. Not because we are in church, we are protected from bullying. Bullying can occur in the church as much as can occur in the street or in the school. And we need to be very careful, whether we are priests, servants, or parents, about what goes on, whether in our Sunday classes or in our yard, because the way we do it is really sometimes we cannot protect them. So, as I mentioned, the incidence of bullying is 1 in 5, 20%. So it's not uncommon at all. And I want you to always be sensitive that your child could be one of those. I want to move to cyberbullying and then go back to how to take care of this. Cyberbullying is basically anyone who has a phone, internet, can really do cyberbullying. And cyberbullying, basically, as a definition, it's using the internet to hurt the feelings or to make rumors about your son or daughter. So CDC claims it happens in 15.5%. So 1 every 3.5, between 4 and 5 kids will be exposed to cyberbullying. 20% of high schoolers experience the bullying in school, while kids who are have some sort of disability are more common to have cyberbullying. I want to alert the families about 2 sites, 2 applications. Unfortunately, they are free, so a lot of kids bring them down. And the reason they download them, these 2 apps can send messages anonymous. So the bullier personality, he could be the most shy kid, he could be the most weak kid, he could be the most unfamous kid, but he wants to make his fame and his power behind the screen because nobody knows who is he. So he sent a very frightening message to your daughter or a bad picture to your son or daughter and threatening him or her that they are going to expose something and they know a secret about them. So one of those apps called Kick Messenger and the other one called Yik Yak. And basically the other one is even more horrible than the first one, the Kick Messenger. I urge you to talk to your children if they ever have this to block it, because these are unprotected messages that will come from friends or sometimes unknown people, strangers, who may be soliciting sex chatting, or just frightening cyberbullying messages. And plenty of these cyberbullying are happening over instant messages, text, and of course in social media comments. So everybody hates you. Everybody knows that you are, sorry to say, you are not virgin. Everybody knows you are gay. Everybody knows you are, and they send these messages with a lot of vengeance. And unfortunately, your kid take it and gets so scared, and then is afraid to go to school, afraid to go to a trip, or afraid to go to church. And cyberbullying is one of the worst attacks on our children because sometimes we don't know who is sending it. What should I do as a parent when I want to know if my kid is bullied or not? So, number one is how to ask. And in my opinion, every parent listening to me, I would love if they, in a dinner discussion, in a car with your daughter and son, which is basically a captive audience environment, talk to your children questions like this. I have heard a lot about bullying lately in the news. Is any of this going around in your school? Open-ended. Don't say you are being bullied or not. The answer normally would be no, or I don't want to talk about it. The second question you can open up with your child. I have been lately very worried about you. You seem to be down. Your grades are a little down. I see you are not as laughing and as happy as before. Are there any kids in school who may be picking on you? I know this happens all the time. I read even 1 out of 5 is being picked on. Are you one of those? A third way to open up a discussion with your child. Are there any kids in school who tease you in a mean way, who make fun of you, who write something about you in a social media or a text message or a school board? I just remembered now a story that one 11 or I think 10th grade kid, girl, went in. As soon as she walked in, they already wrote in the blackboard or the green board for that matter something very, very inappropriate about this girl. And as soon as she walked in, she read it. Everybody was laughing, and right away she ran out, and of course they wiped it out, and the teacher never saw it. I can't say what they wrote, but I can tell you it was very inappropriate, very, very private, and this girl felt very exposed, almost very naked. And this girl took her many, many months and even attempts at changing school. Kids are harsh with each other. Kids, they think this is funny, but sometimes they can really hurt others. I am really reminded with a verse that our Lord mentioned, which is, if anyone causes one of these little ones to be stumbled. Every single one of our children is a little one. And sometimes these types of bullying are letting our kids to be stumbled. So open up with these types of approaches with your child and be ready to receive many responses. And many of the responses would say, yeah, mom, bullying is something natural. Everybody does that. And then the next question, what about you? Somebody picked on you? Somebody made fun of you? Were you ever offered or given names? If the answer is no, I like also to ask my children, how about you bullying others? Did you ever do that, my friend? Have you ever made fun of one of your fellow schoolmates? Have you ever wrote a name or made a rumor about a girl or a boy? It's very important that not only we protect our kids from being put down by being bullied, but very important also, we make sure our kids are not the bulliers. We sometimes always blame the environment, but we may be the people to care for our children and control them so they don't hurt others. Some other questions may be, do you have any new friends this year? Don't ask them, do you have friends or not? Of course I have friends. Do you have new friends this year? What are their names? Because if the answer no, that's a bit troubling. Why you don't have friends? Are they avoiding you? They don't want to take you in a team. Are you feeling lonely in school? Do you feel like they don't want to include you in their playground or teams or matches? Where do you eat lunch and who do you eat lunch with? If it's always alone, or I don't eat lunch, or I stay in the classroom, or I go to the bus to be alone, ask again, dig again. 1 out of 5, my friends. Ask him, when you go home after school, do you take the bus or do you walk? I'm sure you know as a parent. Are you made fun going home this way? Do you prefer that I pick you up? Do you prefer dad comes to school and pick you up? Do you prefer to take a different route? Do you want me to participate for you to take the bus rather than you take the public transportation? Another question. Are there any kids at your school who you don't like and why? And if she tells you, this girl always make fun of me, she always make names, she always put me down, you got your answer. Do they ever pick on you or leave you out of things? So the girls, you know how they are. Sometimes they gather around, and when she wants to come in, they sort of nicely push her, or sometimes even not nicely, pushing her away. And your daughter feels very lonely because no one really cared to include her in the group, and they don't want to really make her play with them. Then what do you do if you know that your kid is being bullied? The first thing you should do is do not ever blame your kid that he's being bullied. That's the worst thing. Do not tell him because you are weak, because you don't know how to defend yourself, because you don't know how to fight back. Please, those are the little brethren. Do not stumble them, as Christ said. On the contrary, always make sure he feels he's a victim, not an offender. And don't ever make your son, instead of a bully being bullied, a bullier. Don't make him, I want you to go tomorrow and defend yourself and fight back. Because when you do that, you probably turned your son into a bullier, and you are not going to win. Your son eventually will change, and his personality will switch. Please do not ignore your son or daughter if they ever mention to you they are being picked on, or they are made fun of, or somebody is mocking them, or they are being excluded, or you find any signs of physical disruption of their clothes or hurt. Please do not also immediately try to know the facts and be against your kid. Always be on his or her side. Do not try to push away as if because they deserve what happened to them. Now, another important advice for kids who are being bullied, don't ever, please, bring the person who bullied your son and make them stand in front of the other, and you tell your son, tell the teacher what Matthew did to you. He will never do. And you failed your son because you brought the offender in the same room where the weaker vessel is there. If you must talk to the offender, it should be in the presence of his or her parents or his or her teacher. Never in the presence of your son or daughter who were bullied. Do not force other kids to say publicly what they saw. This is a private thing, and if they start speaking publicly, you put them in a position where they are going to be bullied even more. Look, he snitched on all of us. Your son will be even in a weaker position if you do that. After talking to your child, your son, your daughter, stay alert that these problems may continue to occur. Stay alert that your son or daughter may experience an anxiety, stress, nightmares. Stay alert that unfortunately suicidal ideation sometimes occur, especially after cyberbullying. So I don't want you to ignore what happened and you imagine this will go away by itself. Unfortunately, some of these can repeat itself, and sometimes it's actually gets worse and hurt your son or daughter. I would like to answer this question. As mom who feels bad for my kids when someone bullied them, what's the right action to do in situation? Another question. My child is 13-year-old. He is overweight. He gets bullied in the church by his friends. I always know from other parents he never speaks to me about it. Also, who bullied him are his best friends. What should I do to let him speak to me and open his heart? Very good, two questions. When your son is being bullied, the first thing you want to support. 2, you want to tell him it's not your fault. Number 3, you want to help him to avoid being bullied. So if he's overweight, did you participate in gym? Did you change the type of food at home? I know Egyptian moms like to make so many types of great dessert, and then we complain that our kids are overweight. Are you and your family, all of you, are trying to lose weight so your kids are not being overweight? As a physician, I'm seeing so much overweight among Coptic boys and girls in middle and high school. It's something I've never seen in the past years. Some of it because of COVID. But please, junk food, staying home without moving are eventually going to cause our kids to be bullied because they are overweight. So do something about it. Also, so number 1, accept the child, be kind on him, do not blame him. 2, do not minimize the problem. Appreciate your child and tell him, I fully understand where you come from. If I were in your situation, I would have felt so bad. 3, help him or her to change their attitude or physique or appearance if can be done. For example, a girl who has, let's say, a hair that some of the girls are making fun of her. Straighten her hair, cut her hair, and prolong her hair. I know, dye her hair, do something. Make her be proud of herself. 4, self-image and confidence. You need to build your confidence in your child. Encourage the things that can be encouraged. Tell him you are very smart in math. Maybe he's not good in science. Tell him you are very good in that sport. Maybe he's not good in music. There is something you can encourage him for. Finally, number 5, and has nothing to do with your son. If you know the bullier, you must face that bullier with his parents. You go to talk to the parents and tell him, with all respect, your sons are making fun of my child. I would appreciate that you talk to your kids and tell him this attitude is unacceptable. You need to be stern and respectful. You need to be sharp but clear. And if you need to bring a senior servant or a priest in the middle, please do that. Do not, I repeat again, do not bring your own son to complain about those kids in the same time. Do not make the bullied face the bullier. That's unacceptable. Is your child, a mom feels bad for my kids when someone, how can I make my son speak with me? You make your son speak with you in the ways that I just mentioned. You open up and say, lately I have found that you like to stand alone and you are not mingling with your friends. Do you have new friends? You ask about, it seems to me you lately have been unhappy. When I were in your age, I was made fun of many times. Is that what's happening with you? Please talk to me. Maybe I can help. I need also to mention that many of our sons and daughters, when they are bullied, they become isolated. They don't want to go out. They stay home. They want to stay with the iPad. They don't want to talk to others. And the worst thing we do to them, that we do not appreciate the weakness. Talk with your kids and set up an appointment with the parent of the bullier or with the teacher if that happens in school. Teachers are usually the best position to respond to bullying because they learn it, they study it, and they want to avoid it as well. So it's quite normal that a parent school meeting, a parent teacher school meeting can help. And you can ask the teacher many questions like, how does my child get along with the other students in your class? With whom is he spending time in the recess? Have you noticed or suspected that my son is being bullied? And who do you think is bullying him or her? Explain to the teacher that lately you have noticed some signs that could be bullying and you want his or her help with your child. So almost include the teacher to become part of your team to help your son to avoid being bullied. Ask the teacher to talk with other staff members regarding your son and explain that you are giving him or her the freedom to talk that your son is suspected to be bullied and you want the teachers to know how to avoid that. If you believe your child is being bullied, take serious action and ask the teacher, I need to meet with the parent of so and so. He is being blamed that he is the person who bullied my son. All of this are acceptable measures, and I'm saying this because the school is about to open, and also because unfortunately churches are full of bullying, and not because we are in a church that makes us just a holy place. We are, after all, sinners, sick people attending the church to be healed and to be holy. So it's not unusual that we harm each other. That doesn't mean we should not leave the church. We should just correct how every weak person, as St. Paul mentioned in 1 Corinthians chapter 12, the weaker vessel and the less beautiful, we take care of it more than the prettier and the more honored. The less honored in the church we value more. The less pretty, we value more and we honor more. And that's the bullied of our kids. Now let's get to cyberbullying. How should um, what do I do to protect my kid online? So if you were to find out, and I hope you can, and please find out, and please ask, have you gotten any unsolicited messages from a stranger or someone that you thought a friend, but really the message was harsh, was annoying, was sexually explicit, was asking you to do something you don't want to do, or asking for money, or asking to meet and you don't want to meet? Ask these questions. Online chatting, messaging, unfortunately, have carried a lot of wrong things to our children. But reassure your child that your love and care and trust in her or him will not change by him telling you this. Start your question by saying, by the way, I'm not ever going to love you less because somebody bad is sending you a wrong request or a wrong message. I remember this girl who eventually responded to a guy who thought that he loves her by sending him um, a photo picture of her underclothes garment. And eventually she told me, and I had to tell her mom, and I, of course, coached mom not to blame the girl. Of course, she's wrong. But at the same time, she was under a lot of pressure. And the most important thing, our love will not change to you. Our care will not change. Yes, you made a mistake in responding. But the idea of a discussion like this is to prevent our kids to be fallen as a victim of someone who usually can be a stranger, who's asking for things that should not be offered to him or her, or writing names, or writing rumors, or putting in social media bad stuff. Help your child step away from the computer and take a break. When that happens, tell your child, put off your computer. Don't ever retaliate. Don't ever respond in an angry message to whoever is writing to you. Ignoring is the best friend. Eventually, that person will stop writing those wrong messages. If you retaliate, if you get angry, you give satisfaction to the person who made you angry, and eventually you went in his or her trap. It's very important. We as parents teach our kids how to put boundaries on online messaging. You teach our kids private is private. No one is allowed to know your secrets, your passwords, your relationships, your in-house mysteries, secrets. All of this is so private that no one should know about. I am worried that our kids sometimes are simple-minded and they spill a lot of their secrets, unfortunately, to people who misuse their trust. Consider contacting your kid's school if you get cyberbullying, especially if you are sure who is sending the message. I actually like to tell the parents and the kids, if you can, take a screenshot before you delete the message. I want you to delete the message. I want you to close the computer, but take a screenshot of this person who may have a screen name that's completely different. But take that and go to school and say, this screen person who's claiming himself to be XXY is cyberbullying. and I'm reporting him to the school master, the school principal, and the teacher. Let them do what they have to do. And if it happens that it reaches to the level it's threatening the, 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 the welfare of your child, if there are weapons involved, if there are threats involved, you may have to call the police. The cyberbullying can reach to a level that you must be reaching beyond the level even of the school, because some of these can unfortunately cause suicidal attempts to our children, because our children feel almost naked because their secrets are divulged. People are talking about them. They are putting names in social media, and all of a sudden they are really everyone's talking about them. They don't want to go to school, they don't want to go to church, they want to kill themselves. So take a screenshot and empower your kid with the power that you are in his side. You are not blaming him. He is a victim. Also, talk about the digital behavior of our children. Why are you accepting friends that you don't know on your social media? Why are you chatting with people who are strangers? We always teach our kids stranger is danger. So what happened? Our online is different than the person who meets me in the street. Same thing, it's even worse because you don't know who is that. It could be a 40-year-old talking to your daughter who's 14. Unfortunately, there is so many perverted people, and we need to protect our kids from cyberbullying. So digital behavior of our children need to be adjusted. Don't accept strangers. Don't accept friends that you don't know. It's not the number of likes and the number of people who are following you that makes you famous. Also, what type of profile you are portraying in your social media and Instagram. Some of our girls, and I wish moms can be friends in their Instagrams of their daughters, are putting pictures and profiles that I doubt Jesus Christ would like to be their friend. They are not really the type and form that we are proud of our girls to have. And of course, whoever is being now befriended, he thinks that this girl is an easy girl, and he starts writing and talking, and all of a sudden this girl is really in trouble because she has been responding so much to a stranger. Block the bullier. If someone is bullying your kid, after you take a screenshot, block that person. Social media, Instagram, tweets, regardless. Do not give a chance to a guy or a girl who is trying to hurt the feelings of your son or daughter. Tell, as I'm now talking to my young boys and girls, if this happened to you, my friend, who you are 16 or 18, I urge you, please talk to a trusted adult. I wish you can talk to your mom and dad, but even talk to your Sunday school teacher, talk to your priest, talk to your teacher in the school. Tell them I feel threatened. Tell them I'm very anxious, I'm not sleeping well because those people are talking bad things about me. They are putting names. I don't want to join the class anymore. I don't want to go to the team anymore. I'm dropping this because I'm worried. Talk to your mom and dad that you wish not to be called names at home. With all respect to all the parents, I urge you, please don't ever, ever put down, call names, criticize in a very harsh way your children. There is nothing good about calling your daughter fat. There is nothing good by calling your son stupid or a failure. Nothing will come good out of it. Remember, he can only get better if you hold her or his hand, if you can help them lose weight, if you can help him grow muscles, if you can help him get better in school. And for my sons and daughters, please do not think that res- that responding to some of those bad or nasty people is inappropriate. No, you have all the right to block these people. Please keep private things private. Your life has so many private things. Keep them private. Your private information and private body and private clothes and private passwords and private accounts are not a place for you to place them in social media. Unfortunately, there are people waiting to hunt for these things. And when they find them, they start blackmailing you and they are putting all of this in social media. Please report misbehavior. If you are a kid, report it. If you are a parent, report it. I urge you as a kid, please think before you post or put a picture or a text in anything. It's too much regrets I find from so many boys and girls after they click enter or post, and then a lot of bad comments comes because you posted not a decent picture, not a decent post, and then you're getting very bad comments. I will never forget this clip or movie where a girl who had sort of bad ears, or I don't know what they call them, her ears are pointing out, and she put an Instagram, and as soon as she put it, somebody she doesn't know, but he's one of her list, and wrote something about rabbit ears. And the girls, for months, she was combing her hair to cover her ears. And every time her mom puts a ponytail, she gets angry and she wants to cover her ears. Just because one Instagram she posted without thinking, unfortunately, a nasty person who shouldn't be her friend commented on her beauty in a bad way. Do we need this? Do you need this, my child, my daughter, my son? And do you need this for your kids, mom and dad? Please, now I want to give a couple of words for those who are bullying. You are not brave. And if you think you are strong, think again. You are the weakest because you are hiding behind the screen and writing names for others. Please, I urge you to stop. You are also my son and my daughter. But your behavior is hurting other sons and daughters of Christ. Please don't do that. You want to feel friended with others? Do not try to pull them into your friendship through slavery, through bending them down, through hurting them. Your sister could be in that situation. Your brother could be in that situation. Would you like it if somebody called him names, be teasing him, mocking him, put him down, exclude him from groups? Would you like it if your younger brother or sisters feel anxious, start feeling they want to kill themselves because somebody like you have done it to others? Christ have said, beware of stumbling the little brethren of Christ. Whether you are a dad, you are a mom, you are a teacher, or certainly if you are a teenager who is hurting other kids. Think again. Think again. You will not go unpunished. If not in this world, in the world to come. Because the hurt you are doing can last tens of years in some of these kids. So I'm very stern, telling you and begging you, do not hurt my children and the children of Christ. I thank you very much for your questions and for your listening today. Today we spoke about bullying and cyberbullying. I hope you can send me your questions and the topics you would like me to talk about while we are turning our eyes and hearts towards family and family matters.